Resume recording. All right, it's 2:43. We're calling the meeting to order. Do we have anybody for public comment? Just go ahead and unmute yourself. Public comment, going once, going twice. All right, next up, approval of the minutes from the May meeting. We are in June, so we're voting on last meeting's minutes. Somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Hello?
Somebody want to unmute yourself and second the motion? Anyone?
I'll second that.
Okay. Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Great. Thanks, everybody. All right. So the event sponsorship request for Mandela Arts, she wasn't able to join us today and wasn't ready. So this is going to be moved to the July meeting, but they are looking for ways to partner with us on outdoor arts programming on Devon, which is super exciting. They're doing an event on Devon and Talman on the 18th. So that's pretty cool. We're also talking with them about working together for outdoor movie nights later this summer. The holdup last year was we weren't able to get rights for any Bollywood movies. They might have a hookup for that. So I'm talking to Pranita at Mandala to try and make that happen, which could be pretty cool. If that ends up being the case, we'll probably do it at Republic Bank again. But more to come on that in July. She does plan on joining us for that July meeting. BIP application. I do have a BIP application for this month needing a vote from Jewelry and Watch Repair. Let me get the drawings up of what they're looking to do. So here's the rendering that he sent. So he's looking to upgrade his sign. Right now it's just, I think, like a metal or a banner type sign. He's looking to do a lit sign. So this is the rendering of what it would look like. He has submitted quotes from a couple different sign contractors. He's also looking to make some upgrades to the glazing in the door. And, you know, we're going to ask him also to hopefully, like, you know, maybe consider taking some of the, you know, the extraneous signage off the windows so that it just has a cleaner look. But yeah, he's gotten the sign off from the landlord. He submitted the quotes. This is the rendering of the sign. Any questions or motions? What's that?
It was me who made the rendering, so I don't know.
Yeah, so you might, you know, it might be appropriate for you to abstain then.
Yeah.
What's the address?
Yeah. So this address is, let me check. It is 2505 West Devon.
Okay, he should be cleaning up that facade. That does not look
Yeah,
good.
and I had that conversation with him too.
Is the sign all lit up?
It's interior LED, so it would be a lit sign, correct?
So if you don't mind, can I explain the whole project?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So the rack panel that you see in the back is ACM panels, and we're gonna put the frame in the back. Only the lit part is the letters and the box. The jewelry and watch repair are gonna be the channel letters, individual letters with the LEDs inside. Underneath, you see is a 10-inch box, which is gonna be lit as well.
Cool. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Isn't that a lot of information for a sign? A little gaudy, maybe.
I mean, it is improvement over I think the sign that was there, I think, had even more. I'm trying to see if one of the pictures is in this file. Because yeah, I see what you're getting at, but I think compared to some of the other signs on the block and the current signage, which is this, it's a little hard to see because he submitted it in black and white. But the current signage has like even more stuff crammed onto it. So even though it is still a little busy, it's way better than what's there.
the thing is that jewelry and watch repair is kind of his business name, so we can't do anything on that. But in the box, we have to mention like what kind of services he's providing for the people who don't know.
I motion to approve the design.
All right.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Pete, aye.
Yeah, Sanita. Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Sounds like it's approved. Thanks, everybody. All right, we'll go back to the agenda. All right, so we did the BIP application from Julie and Roche Repair. We had talked through most of the updates on the Tuk-Tuk program. So I have 6 businesses currently signed up. It sounds like just from talking to folks before the official start of this meeting, Ramiz, you're gonna reach out to the Karachi Chat House contact at Devon and Oakley. I'm also gonna send you the info and Pete the info to do it at your respective businesses. And then Urshad said he spoke to Ali at Harberty, and it sounds like he's on board as well. So for those that haven't already turned in the sign-up form, we'll need that back from you, as well as if you haven't already included it on there, your business license number and an emergency contact that we can submit for the right-of-way permits that we're applying for putting these out. So both Big Buzz and myself will be reaching out to follow up with folks about next steps. But we're really excited. We're still we're still targeting that last weekend in July for these to go out and start popping up in the neighborhood. So more to come on that. We'll have more updates at the July meeting. But for those that are involved in participating, we'll be sending some emails and some WhatsApp messages to coordinate next steps. Any questions before we move on to budget discussion?
Not from my side.
Great, thanks. All right, so annual budget. We are required to approve an annual budget at the July meeting, and the July meeting has to be held the first or second week of the month of July. So for us, that is going to be July 11th. And I wanted to share with you the draft budget summary that I've put together so far based on the contract estimates that we've gotten for service providers and year-to-date actual spending. There's not a whole lot of change between this year and next year. The levy amount is actually going down slightly, even though we have seen cost increases for things like landscaping and litter pickup. One of the big line items that was in prior budgets was the replacement of the lights, which we've already paid for. They haven't arrived yet. They should be shipping soon. I talked to the vendor on Friday. So we haven't forgotten, and the stuff has been ordered, but everything was delayed by the COVID lockdown in China, which delayed the manufacturing. So we paid for the lights. They will get installed at some point this year, but I don't have a date certain. But that was a pretty big line item that doesn't need to be in the 2023 budget since we already paid for it. And then we also had quite a bit available to use as carryover, which allowed us to kind of take a little bit of pressure off of the annual levy. So comparing this year to last, it's about a $10,000 difference with the 2022 proposed levy, which it would be the levy for the 2023 budget, actually is $544,000 as opposed to $554, because we have money in the bank available to use for some of these projects that got delayed, deferred, what have you, and then things like the lighting that we already paid for that were one-time expenses that fall off. So yeah, any questions or things that you'd like to see or discuss for budget purposes, or changes that you want for before the July meeting?
Yeah, well, I have a question. We have a lot of money in the bank account there.
Yes.
If we don't, from where I sit, if we don't start to figure out if we're gonna, I don't want to just collect money without any purpose to it. I would move to reducing the levy, or I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
And just give everyone a tax break back, give their money back.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we're going to start spending it for something really useful, I don't see why we're collecting it.
Yeah, and you know, I did do some of that this year with this budget, and there is some room, you know, if folks want us to shift some of these expenses, particularly for individual projects, from levy to carryover. We can certainly do some of that. Worth noting, and it's, I think, on here as we scroll down, they do cap the percentage of your budget as to how much can be carryover. So it can't be more than 25% of your budget that's coming from carryover. So we're at 13.386% right now. I'm game for shifting some more into carryover to get us closer to that 25% cap, if that's the preference of commissioners.
I think we have a lot of work to do. We just need to find projects to do. Cleaning, and we can just keep adding more. Or power washing, we've talked about, when nothing's happening. Maybe add some more projects before cutting a budget.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's make sure it's something that we want. And since we have enough money, instead of nickel and diming this stuff, we can get proper cleaning where they clean the insides of the liners, for instance. We can pay more for snow removal to get better service. We have the resources, and at the same time, we could probably still cut our budget. You know, we had
power wash every 3 or 4 months, like we said we were going to. I think the place would be a lot cleaner.
And they did do spring power washing. I can maybe have them bump it to, you know, I think we have in our contract three or 4 times a year. You know, maybe we can add some more dates to that. That's pretty easy to work in.
Just to get people to notice that they're cleaning, and if the place is cleaner, hopefully people throw less trash out. So
yeah,
maybe during the warmer weather, just add more dates.
I mean, that's all fine. I think that's important, but let's not say, hey, look, we got this money, let's look for projects. If we have stuff in mind, then we can approach it the other way, is what I'm saying. It feels unproductive this way. And we've been doing this for a while now, and we're over budget all the time. I mean, so I don't know.
One other thing to keep in mind on budget for this group, it hasn't really, you know, been as noticeable as it has with some of the other SSAs, but some of you may be aware that the county notified us earlier this year that they are going to be delaying the second installment property tax bills that usually go out in August. Those bills are now not going to go out to property taxpayers until they're telling us now January of 2023. So it means that basically the second half of our revenue as budgeted, we are not going to receive until January at the earliest. So for other SSAs that don't have the carryover cushion that SSA 43 does, it's made things a little difficult, and we've had to sort of, you know, really watch our budgets a lot more closely, because basically RPBA as an organization is having to float us that money until the tax revenue comes in. But we haven't had to do that as much with SSA 43 because of the carryover cushion that we have built up. So just something to be aware of. But I don't see it, you know, having a huge impact on the way that we sort of do things day to day here. And I don't know if Sandy has anything to add to that. But, you know, I am sensitive to the need and for cleaning, particularly the litter pickup and the power washing. We've been having those conversations with Clean Slate, particularly regarding holiday weekends, because their contract specifies that Tuesdays are a training day for their staff, so they don't typically come on Tuesdays. We have asked them that for holiday weekends, specifically the Juneteenth weekend coming up this weekend, as well as July 4th and Labor Day, to shift that for our crew so that they can, you know, we've asked them to make sure their crew comes on Tuesday because the trash does pile up on those holidays.
I want them to clean the liners. That's killing me, man.
Yeah.
It's killing my soul.
We have shared that with them numerous times as well. The difficulty with the litter pickup service is they're kind of the only game in town at this point, and it's been, I think, a challenge for a lot of the SSAs that when we put out these RFPs, they're usually the only firm that bids. So
I think Earthshot's probably got a bunch of guys, doesn't he?
I do, but it's a conflict of interest. What do you want me to do? I think we should do our budget first, and then once we get the numbers finalized for next meeting, then we can decide on what we should up or what we should cut down or, change our budget.
I just want to add that after Memorial Day on Tuesday, I got so many complaints that Devon looked horrible. And I reached out to the SSA, and of course they wouldn't come out on Tuesday, but it was a mess.
Yeah, and we have asked them in the future to make sure that they are sending people the Tuesday after holiday weekend, just like have them be off on Wednesday or Thursday, but it's crucial that we have coverage on Tuesdays.
Hey, Cindy, about the broken benches, that was an issue last time.
Yep.
On the agenda.
Still an issue. I've been in contact with CDOT. They are responsible for getting the quotes for fabricating and installing the replacements. There are a couple of replacements that are in storage at the Streets and Sand yard, but we are not able to install them. Only a CDOT contractor is allowed to do it. And they are, I guess, in the process of making a new contract is what I was told. So they're waiting for that to get finalized before they can even schedule installation of new benches, even though we have them. And then there are additional ones that will need to be fabricated because we'll be using up the backstock that they do have.
Can they at least remove the broken ones? I mean, that's just horrible. There's just broken benches laying around on the ground.
Yeah, it's not great.
Okay, why don't you get me the information, Cindy, and I can reach out to CDOT.
Yeah, I'll do that. Any other questions or priorities that we want to try and work into budget drafts?
Anything that we are doing right now for promoting the businesses on Devon, as right now, like inflation is high, the business volume on Devon, like as a business owner, I can feel maybe the other people are seeing that too, like it's going down. Are we doing something towards that, like promoting the businesses on Devon?
So one of the things that's in this budget that wasn't in the current year budget is that we have put in a larger line item for our social media and digital marketing. Because when the current year budget was written, it was before we had started working with AdMark Digital to maintain social media and do our social media ad campaigns. So I have included a larger amount for that to continue in 2023 in this budget. So that basically does reflect an increase somewhat in our customer attraction budget this year relative to last. Because I think we have seen a lot of growth in terms of the number of followers and engagements with the social media for On Devon. Because that has been a priority, based on what we're seeing with foot traffic as we're trying to, come back from pandemic shutdowns, get people back out on Devon. And a big piece of that is keeping it top of mind for visitors and for neighbors to come out and shop. And so meeting them where they're at, that's social media. So we have been investing more in that this year. And I think we are seeing gains. I think I sent around last week the monthly report from our social media team. And it shows pretty solid growth across the board on all of our social media channels, which is what you want to see. And I don't remember who it was that encouraged that we reach out to this particular firm, but I think it's paying off because they are really plugged into the Devon business community. And they've been able to get, I think, some pretty solid results and create some good content to populate that page.
I know them personally. They're doing a good job for that. What about if we do some sort of a coupon box? Because the social media post is something like people see and like it. We want people to literally come on Devon and spend their money on the businesses. So we need that more. Like if we can do a coupon book, I don't know if you guys have any idea with that. Like we want people to come on Devon and use some sort of like a coupon or any deal, something that make them come on Devon and spend the money here.
It's certainly something we can look at. Sandy, I don't know if you have anything to add. So we struggle with, you know, non-digital, like anytime you do anything in print, a lot of times what you run into is that it's out of date like pretty quickly after it's published. So I think that's certainly behind my hesitancy to pursue a physical guidebook or coupon book or directory. But if that's something that commissioners want us to look into, you know, we're happy to do that.
I think even more than that, even more than that is, excuse me, is organizing and gathering the information from the businesses. So getting the businesses to agree to offer a discount of some sort that you're going to put in the coupon book. Most businesses don't want to do that. Then getting them to share with us their logos or the content for whatever it is. We would have to hire someone to organize this because we don't have the capacity.
Or we can just put that event on online and ask the businesses if they want to put any deals or anything to submit your logo and the deals by due date. Whoever submit will get benefit out of it. No?
We could do that. That's easy to send out an email to everybody and just give them a deadline, and whoever submits their stuff to us, we would include it. That's easy.
Yeah, and we can actually have the ad mark to promote that page where people can go and download those coupons. We don't have to print them. They can easily download and print it at home and then bring it to the restaurant or any grocery store or anywhere to use that coupon.
Yeah, I can certainly reach out to them and ask them to, you know, sort of add that to their scope if we can, you know, create a page on the website, because that's pretty quick. We can create a Google form, send it around in an email or put it on WhatsApp, and then just sort of, you know, put something together there.
Yeah. And again, I asked last time, I don't know if it's possible or not. I was thinking the same thing, like a lot of people do like a street, they close the street from 2 end and then they do the event. There is no way possible on Devon, like even in a certain part, like few blocks, we could do that. Like it will really build foot traffic towards Devon if we do that. Is it possible by any mean or any chance?
I know it hasn't been done since I've been working with Devon. Sandy might have some thoughts. I think is it a state road? Was that the thing?
They close it for the parades, but so I'm not sure why they won't let us close it for an event, but but the Westridge Chamber of Commerce is doing a bunch of events on the side streets, just off, so between Devon and the alley on the side streets. So we'll see, we can see how that goes. We're planning on participating with that. I think the first one's in July, right, Cindy?
No, it's later this month, weekend of the 26th.
Oh, there you go, June 26th.
The Danstein Devon event will be coming up. They had originally scheduled the second one for July 30th and 31st. Larissa shared with me that is going to be moved, but they don't have a new date for it yet. So it will not be the weekend of July 30th, but they are working on identifying an alternative date in August.
When were we going to do the tuk-tuk, or how do you pronounce it?
So the plan for that had been to have those go up in conjunction with the Westridge event, but since they don't have a date for it yet, I think the plan is for that to stick to the weekend of July 30th. And there's not a whole lot of programming that really rides along with that, other than just like the statues are unveiled and, you know, we put out a press release saying like, they're here, come look at them. You know, we had been talking about like having the company come out and do the electric tuk-tuk rides that weekend as a promotion of it. But it's not going to be something big like a festival. Like the hope was that we'd sort of tag on to what Westridge was doing, but because the scheduling of it is in flux, we didn't want to try and hang our hat on something that was a moving target. So we are going to be trying to stick with July 30th and 31st for that.
Darn, my anniversary party is July 23rd. I was hoping to have it.
Send me any info that you have for that, because I do want to make sure that it gets into the content calendar for July.
Will do.
And another, thing that we could look at as well is some of the bigger parking lots in the district for outdoor programming, like we did with the movies last year at Republic Bank. I'm hoping that we can do that again. Sometime in late August or early September, I think, are the dates that we're starting to look at. And failing that, Croatian Cultural Center also has a pretty big parking lot. If they'd be down for hosting some outdoor programming, because I think that is pretty key, is to have stuff going on outside so that it's visible. But yeah, we hear you that there's interest in events for sure. And we are still, we do still have sort of the concept idea in mind for the samosa crawl concept that we, I think, had talked about previously. The intention with, our team and with Big Buzz was to sort of get the tuk-tuk event behind us first and then plan that for fall. So we haven't forgotten, but it is on our radar. But we wanted to get one event at a time sort of behind us.
It feels like we've been kind of scrambling about events for a long time, but once we get one or two down a year and they're regular events and we're used to it, then we can start adding more events, and because it'll be plug and play after that pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been a big challenge, is just the fact that it's, we're starting from scratch on a lot of these things. So people are hesitant to sign up when they don't have, they don't know what it's going to be. So like once we've done it a few times and have a playbook and people know what to expect, I think it'll be easier to recruit people to participate. But that has been the biggest challenge, candidly, particularly for the tuk-tuk thing, as I've been, making calls, sending emails, reaching out to people on WhatsApp, is just the fact that like, it hasn't been done before. So people don't have they're hesitant to say yes because they're, because it's new and they don't have a solid understanding of what it's going to be. But events and things like that, I think those are good candidates to have, more of those expenses shifted into the carryover category, if that's something folks want to see. But we do have in this draft of the budget, it is a slightly lower levy than prior year.
I wouldn't mind seeing events. It's just that, what are they? I don't want to just pick random stuff, and then, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, you have to have a clear goal. And I think, for this organization, for this group, the goal is, events that will drive traffic to the street and drive people to businesses on the street. So, what events are the best events to do that? How best can we drive that traffic? So I think we're still figuring that out. But we do have some stuff, sort of teed up for later, for the remainder of this year. Any other thoughts on draft budget? And ahead of our July 11th meeting, I will be sending around the PDF version of this once we make any updates that we need to make, just so that everyone has a chance to look at it before we vote. Because, in the interest of full transparency, we want to make sure that everyone has a chance. Everyone that wants to look at it can. So, at least a week to a few days before that July 11th meeting, I'll be sending this around to everybody as well.
Cindy, the camera program that we had with the police, are we planning on doing another one of those? They were asking last time I spoke with one of them.
So I'll let Sandy talk about that a little bit, because the last round of camera funding that we did, we actually did the Motorola cameras that the police have access to that are on the poles. Did we do license plate recognition or did we not? I don't recall. But it was a pretty large outlay of money for not that many cameras.
We didn't, but Urshad, I would love to talk to the police, because right now OEMC has an abundance of cameras up and down Devon. So they were putting in their own, which is why we didn't do any more. So if you can find out from them where they're looking for cameras to be installed.
I'll get a list of streets that they're asking about.
Yeah. Because last we heard OEMC was doing them everywhere.
And one thing that I would add to a pitch for the Home and Business Protection Program rebate that the city is doing, where if you are installing outdoor cameras at your business or your home, you can submit to request a rebate from the city without needing to involve the SSA. It's just city money that they're just doing it. They require that you submit your receipts and like proof of installation. So like a picture of like where you've installed it. But they do have a citywide program now available for that as well. If you're looking for additional camera installations at your business and don't feel like waiting for OEMC or any of these other things.
If you guys get my newsletter, the information's in that.
Anything else? Any other thoughts or questions?
I motion to adjourn.
All right, we got a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Remember, we're in person on July 11th at Devon Bank, and we'll be voting on budget.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one. All right, bye-bye.